For men, it's the traditional secret to peak vitality and stamina. With 300 milligrams of pure Damiana extract, it's designed for both men and women to support balance, mood, and natural spark. Reclaim your flow with McDowell's Damiana. Unlock the best version of you. Available at Health Service Center on the John Compton Highway and all pharmacies. You can also order online on McDowellsProducts.com. Rediscover your rhythm. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Morning walks, time with loved ones, and moving freely without constant discomfort. But when joint and muscle pain slow you down, even the simple moments can feel like a challenge. That's where McDowell's Pain Complex comes in. Formulated to support joint comfort and mobility, McDowell's Pain Complex helps you get back to the life you love, step by step, day by day. Move easier, feel better, live fully. McDowellsProducts.com. McDowell's Pain Complex. Rediscover your rhythm. Now available at all leading pharmacies and at Health Service Center upstairs the Napa Building on the John Compton Highway.
Super Jazz and Arts. That's the best community jazz event in St. Lucia.
You heard it. Now come to Super Jazz and Arts, the ultimate experience. Gramps Morgan. Voice. Montiel. VYP, Afarale, Esra the Fun Machine, Imran Nerdy, Reasons Orchestra, Boo Hinkson and the True Tones. Now on a Saturday, May 2nd, doors open from 3 p.m. Get your tickets at $150 or indulge in the ultimate VIP Village experience for $400. Purchase at FourCircleTickets.com, the Cell Outlets Island-wide, and the Sufre Foundation office. 9 incredible artists, 1 unforgettable night. And also join us for DJ Asuf Creole Breakfast Fest, Sunday, May 3rd. Admission free. The ultimate weekend in the ultimate location. Sufre Jazz. The ultimate experience.
Stop letting your night be defined by trips to the bathroom. Waking up 3 or 4 times a night isn't just getting older. It's a wake-up call. Reclaim your flow and your freedom with McDowell Prostate Health. Specially formulated for men over 40, our premium herbal formula targets weak flow and frequent interruptions before they sideline your life. Don't just manage the symptoms, stay ahead of them. Get back the confidence of a full night's sleep and the strength of a healthy flow. Feel like yourself again. Pick up McDowell's Prostate Health at Health Services Center, pharmacies, or order online at McDowellProducts.com.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
Hello, all realists. Thank you for listening to Real FM. If you'd like to call our studio, here is the number. Call the direct line on 4533911, or you can WhatsApp call on 4879849. Call to participate, win prizes, request music, and interact with our announcers and DJs. Real FM, the People's Station.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Soufre Jazz and Arts. That's the best community jazz event in St. Lucia.
You heard it. Now come to Soufre Jazz and Arts, the ultimate experience. Gramps Morgan. Voice. Montiel. ZYP, Offer Ale, Ezra the Fun Machine, Imran Nerdy, Reasons Orchestra, Boo Hinkson and the True Tones. Now on a Saturday, May 2nd, doors open from 3 p.m. Get your tickets at $150 or indulge in the ultimate VIP Village experience for $400. Purchase at fourcircletickets.com, the Cell Outlets Island-wide, and the Soufre Foundation office. 9 incredible artists, 1 unforgettable night. And also join us for DJ Asuf Creole Breakfast Fest Sunday, May 3rd. Admission free. The ultimate weekend in the ultimate location. Soufre Jazz. The ultimate experience.
Stop letting your night be defined by trips to the bathroom. Waking up 3 or 4 times a night isn't just getting older, it's a wake-up call. Reclaim your flow and your freedom with McDowell Prostate Health. Specially formulated for men over 40, our premium herbal formula targets weak flow and frequent interruptions before they sideline your life. Don't just manage the symptoms, stay ahead of them. Get back the confidence of a full night's sleep and the strength of a healthy flow. Feel like yourself again. Pick up McDowell's Prostate Health at Health Services Center, pharmacies, or order online at mcdowellproducts.com.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Clans Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man, the voice.
18th day of the month of April 2026. This is The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and producer, alongside our technical operator, the ever-reliable Alton Jaquan Joseph. And I have guests in the studio who I will name, who I will identify, introduce in a short while. Hope you're having a good day so far. I must say it looks like one of, the better ones, the lovelier days. It's becoming hotter, of course, but I think today, the morning, the first part of the day has been relatively cool. I always like it like that. The bright sunshine. If you could give me the sunshine and take out a little bit of the heat, but after all, this is the tropics, so you can't have it a la carte. As you want, you got to take it as a package, don't you? Thank you for the very kind comments and feedback that so many of you have been sending me about my performance, you might call it, my delivery in the Senate on Wednesday. Very encouraging words. I just realized that it was a whole year since I had been in the Senate as a temporary senator. So to the senators who were there before, the team of senators, which includes the current leader of government business, Senator Dr. Alison Jean. It looks like they did a wonderful job keeping themselves, in terms of good health, not needing to take any time off the travel. I wonder if it's because it was an election year that there was absolutely no vacancy for a whole year. That's when I realized. I wondered, why did I feel like I was stepping into a strange place? I was a familiar face in a strange place. And I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed it. The interaction was good, and thank you for the presentations. Maybe that was your feedback on the presentations. Maybe that was because I was chomping at the bit, raring to go. Had not had a bite of it for quite some time, so it was energizing in terms of the eagerness to go. Folks, I think I've been doing a good job when I have guests, not allowing myself to be led away by the preamble, but I just wanted to consider this one thing. There is an assumption that we make that as people grow older and whatever, that you can hali cannot you atwe, you can made low and divine you and they are mellowing and this kind of thing. Don't let people fool you with that. You see an evil person, you see a hateful person sometimes as they grow older and they realize that the time that they have is short. They might be going out very soon. As is the way of all flesh, as is the natural course and eventuality of mankind. If we grow old enough, we will die one day and so on. There are some people who are so wicked that as they grow older, rather than mellow, rather than have had time to reflect and to become a little better at it, they become more evil because they consider that they have things to accomplish and they want to do it before they leave this earth. I just remember a conversation with a gentleman in St. Lucia who I said, you have the benefit of hindsight and so on. So why don't you, leave that alone and concentrate more on giving, the younger ones, the less experienced ones, some guidance. And he said, look, man, I don't have much time left, before I go out and so on. And he had an agenda of malice of people he felt had wronged him. And he needed to teach them a lesson and make them pay. And I look at Donald Trump, who in a couple months is going to be 80. And I ask myself, is it because this guy knows that he's already old, he's getting older, he's already touching the fourscore and so on, that he wants to do certain things and he is going to do them regardless of how many people he hurts, regardless of how much damage and destruction he causes in the world? He's going to do it. Be very careful with people like that, and even Mama Kamala over in Trinidad, her second time as Prime Minister, maybe disappointed as Trump was that he didn't get a second term. She only got one term, 5 years, and she's come back. She's older, she's less vibrant and so on. Whether Kamala doesn't feel now is the time to make her mark, it doesn't matter whether it's a destructive mark. She's going to come in and she'll toss up everything in the air. She's going to, throw her weight around within CARICOM and, this sort of thing that'll shake things up and so on. And they don't care what they're doing in the process, Maybe that's not the same case with Vladimir Putin. He's in his high 70s as well. But I kind of wonder why every time the world has faced difficulties and crises, and just when you are hoping that there will be some kind of recovery and so on, some joker with his own mindset, like Donald Trump, come and you know what stood up my mind? The fuel prices, the electricity bill that Lucilek has warned us. There is no way they can afford a jack up of the fuel surcharge, and once surcharge go up, and who's causing this foolishness to happen to us now? But Trump and his crazy thing with Venezuela, Venezuela, which was offering us the Petro-Caribbean, the Alba and all of that, and now the whole Middle East thing. Now, I heard something smattering this morning on one of our early morning programs where people are asking, well, why the bill has to go up and the electricity go up when the war, is all the way over in the Middle East and so on. It doesn't quite work like that. After all, America doesn't get its oil from Iran. America hardly gets any oil from the Middle East. I don't know why they are so locked into the petroleum geopolitics that is always keeping the Middle East in a state of volatility. America is the largest oil exporter in the world, No? All this thing you're in about Saudi Arabia and Bahrain and Qatar and UAE, they ain't coming close to exporting as much oil. So if America exporting oil, it means America have more oil, than it needs and so on. They don't need this kind of thing. But oil prices are going up in America. Oil pricing is not so straightforward as a straight line of where it come from and you get it from. And some time ago, I think the former governor of the Central Bank of Barbados, Dr. Delisle Worrell, I think is his name, came out and said, CARICOM, be very careful. Don't expect that if you can get more oil from within CARICOM, from Trinidad or whatever, that the oil is necessarily going to be cheaper. It is how the oil is priced. It is how the oil is denoted and designated in US dollars. So it has more to do with the currency, and the US is the world, the global reserve currency, the petrodollar, for oil. And a lot of time when they overthrow people like Maduro is because they were trying to shift the pricing of the oil from US dollars. I think Maduro had proposed a currency called the petro, and there's all different kind of currencies. Gaddafi was trying a gold dinar, to move away from having everything denoted in US dollars and so on. And in no time he was overthrown and killed on the spot. So, whenever you do that, you threaten the currency viability and stability of the mighty USA and so on. Another guy again, Vladimir Putin. We just came out of the COVID pandemic, me say, this thing brutalized the world. And when people tell me about conspiracies and so on, let us never forget, COVID malmered the United States more than any other country. For all their wealth, for all their science, for all their technology, for all their sophistication, both as a percentage of population and an absolute number, the United States got the worst of the COVID pandemic. That is where the most people died. That is where the most people as a percentage of population, the COVID pandemic brutalized America, And again, there are many reasons for that. But this is the country that when you hear something like Ebola, all of the countries, Africa and so on, you hear how many people dying of Ebola. American doctors go there, barely one of them ever gets sick, far less die and so on. And then I'm saying just when we getting out of COVID pandemic, or we hope to get out and rebuild the world and all the expenses, because if we had to pay for those COVID treatments ourselves, the ventilator thing and the vaccines and all of that, if individuals had to pay, I'm telling you, the death toll would have been a lot worse. It's because WHO, PAHO, organizations like that, the COVAX facility, they bore the cost for us. If you see, we had to bear the cost ourselves. I'm telling you, it would have been a complete wipeout, maybe of entire nations, and regions in the world, etc. And I'm saying just when the world had hope of building up, the price of everything went up. It's only then I got to know how dependent so much of the world, including Africa, was depending on Ukraine for food, for wheat, for exports and those sorts of things. And things just took a mess up turn after that invasion of Ukraine. How they call it? Supply chain difficulties. We experienced a couple of problems there too, of course. Sugar shortages. Now, it's not from Ukraine we're getting our sugar. But once you disrupt the whole global mechanism of shipping and trading and so on, the same thing with the oil. You mess up things in the oil, a whole lot of things will get. And then after Vladimir Putin did his foolishness, along comes a fellow called Trump. It's tariff today, tariff tomorrow, remove it today, put it back tomorrow, 200% now, 50% now, 5. I met with this guy. It's just a complete mess up, and they don't care how it is affecting other people. It keeps them in the news. But, Trump is worse than Putin. At least Putin, the only thing I can lay at his feet is the invasion of Ukraine. But Trump, tariffs here, invasion there, kidnap a foreign president there. It's like a never-ending drama with this man that is turning the world on its head. So, be very careful. Stop this thing about thinking that Munka made loan divan yo pisi yo vin guan ek pisi yo halik and that. Sometimes age and this thing just make them more evil. I just thought I needed to get that off my chest. Real issues. Sorry I have to have my guest sitting there while I go off on another of my rants, but I think this time I had the discipline to clip it before it went too far. I've announced them enough. I've said that they were coming, but there's been a slight tweak in terms of who's actually sitting. So it isn't a case of two women coming and they having, the floor to themselves. We've made a quick substitution, but before I go any further, in the tradition of ladies first, let me say welcome to Ms. Tekla Goodman, the president of the St. Lucia Civil Service Association, who's running for re-election for the same position on the 29th of April. And the other person with her today, I had announced Cleopatra Anthony, but it's actually Chris Fred who's sitting with her, and I think he's running for the position of treasurer. He's the man who will be looking after the money of the CSA. Thank you very much, Chris, for coming, and all the best to you. So, folks, let's cut right to the chase. Elections coming. You are seeking re-election after a first 2-year term as the president. You're asking for another 2 years. And Chris, who I think is also in charge of the CSA's finance committee. It's not an executive, but it is a committee of the CSA. So tell us about, how the campaign has been going so far, how it's looking, what's the confidence level, because a lot of things are swinging and sweeping and slinging head there everywhere. Mun ka bay mun me puye pa woleka akize mun of CXI, you know. So tell us how it's been going so far, and what is your confidence level, Madam President?
My confidence level is very high. Our members see through the fluff and the bluff. Our team, one team, like I've said before, is a team of diverse individuals. And mind you, I need to say that the same people on this one team have been approached by other persons going up so that they can be part of their...
I mean, people have been trying to get people to defect from you?
Yes,
from your team?
yes.
All right. How many did they get?
None.
Oh, you sure you know that?
But it says a lot because it says that the people on my team are people of integrity. Okay. That is why they're being sought after.
Okay.
For us, the one team, we're here to move CSA forward. We've been stuck for a few years, and it is time for us to start moving. A team has been put together, a team that gives CSA a wider voice. We have members from the South. We have members from a lot of the other units that CSA represents, Lucilec, Wasco, Soufriere Regional Foundation. And so this is the team to move CSA.
Okay. Chris, tell me.
Thank you. I want to echo what the President has said. The one team tends to bring a different outlook to what's happening with CSA. We have a 7-point manifesto which will address the issues plaguing the union. The major one has to do with the accounts, which is 8 years outstanding, and the building renovation. So I'm hoping that when the one team gets in office with a united voice.
Are the accounts and the financial statements the same?
No.
Because I was told something that they...
Yes, they can be, they are different. Because CSA has accounts. Because CSA has a QuickBooks system.
Okay.
And the QuickBooks can't generate the accounts. But the Constitution of CSA and the Labor Act requires that the accounts be audited.
Okay.
So they have not been audited for 8 years. Though they exist.
So that's 4 terms we're talking about.
Yes, they have not been audited. So that's the main issue that the one team have a united
What
effort
would have
on.
been the reason for the failure to audit the CSA's accounts and so on? I mean, is it the money you have to pay to the auditors? I don't know too much about auditors, but I have over the years heard about so many different accounting firms that do audits, KPMG, Pitt, Mavic, Coopers and Lybrand, you know, this, that and the other. I've heard so many of them, so to me there's no shortage of auditing.
Yes, they are not. We have an auditor who was elected some time ago to do the audit, but the auditor brought out certain weaknesses in the accounting controls and protocols, and the information that the auditor requested in the past was not being generated. So CSA had a difficulty.
Are you saying the auditor who was supposed to address and fix problems, cause problems?
No, the auditor, you must understand the difference between, as you mentioned, accounts and an audit. CSA prepares the account, organizations prepare the accounts, but the auditor verifies whether those accounts are in line with the accounting profession and protocols and what have you.
Okay.
So the auditor realized some weaknesses and asked that CSA fix those weaknesses. And CSA over the years have had challenges fixing those weaknesses. As an example, in past audits, CSA used to represent its membership dues on a cash basis. What that means is, if 3,000 members pay CSA dues, CSA has 3,000 members. But that's not correct. You only have 3,000 financial members, but you have members who are unfinancial. So to determine the number of members who are unfinancial, and then take a decision to either write it off, either at an executive or AGM level. But in the past, CSA had never calculated how many members are unfinancial and what is the premium owing to these members, owing from these members.
So you have a lot of people who are acknowledged as members, who are claiming to be members, who are asserting their membership and so on, but
they're not paying dues.
Technically speaking, they have not paid dues, and they have not paid them for a long time. Isn't there something in your constitution which automatically disqualifies somebody from membership?
Apparently not. When you look at the constitution, it speaks to what makes you unfinancial. 3 months of non-payment makes you unfinancial. But the additional step, what has to be done after 3 months, 6 months, a year, is not specified. So you remain unfinancial. So that was observed by the auditor and asked CSA to correct it. They determine your membership, because when you do when the accounts are done, it's based on what you call the accrual basis. How many members you have, not how many actually paying.
Okay. To me, that can't be something that's so difficult to resolve in terms of a database to know who's financial and who's not financial, and then to decide, okay, if a person is not financial, what is the extent of privilege and acknowledgement that they get? It can't be so difficult for me. But in terms of the 3,000 membership of the CSA, Tekla, I want to ask you this: are you satisfied with this, or do you look at the CSA and the pool of potential members it can have, and you can say, no, with proper recruitment and whatever, we could have by now built up the CSA to 5,000, or is it over ambitious? Is it looking at it too simple and so on? Because I don't know what the civil service size is, or who are the people who would want to be members of the union, but has the union been wanting in terms of recruitment and making itself attractive?
We have failed in that sense. We had a mobilization officer in the name of Brother Hayden Ford, and unfortunately Brother Hayden Ford is unwell and he went home. We never replaced our mobilization officer. So he was one who would go to different departments, because every month or every other month you would have new employees, and so Hayden Ford would bring the forms to them to try to get persons into CSA. Not only that, we have failed on training and educating persons on the usefulness of being a union member and what it means to be a union member. I remember when I came into the service, that next year will be 30 years. When I came into the service, there was this orientation being done with the public service and CSA, where you were told your roles and responsibilities as a public servant, and that went by the wayside. I don't think we have done that for the past 20 years. These are all things that would get persons interested in the union, in being members of the union. I also recall, like I heard Brother Dimac say yesterday, we would be given 2 forms, one form to join CSA, one form to join the cooperative, the credit union, and so that has stopped. I don't think it is too ambitious for us to increase our numbers.
What would you say would be a good number to aim for as of now, if you could accomplish that, say, in the next quarter or in the end of 2026, that Tekla would say, boy, a good number of people, if we can increase our membership, would be an additional 2,000, but let's say we aim for 500 in 1 year and over 3 years, or whatever, we can do that. I'm just asking for what you consider to be the desirable numbers.
I think we can push to 5,000 members. And one of the things we have noticed now, it is contracts. People are hired on contract. And a lot of persons are of the belief that once you're on contract, you cannot be a union member, which is the furthest thing from the truth. Once you are an employee, once you are working, you should join a union. Because at any time, something can happen and you will need representation.
Because I know people who have worked in places where the management culture was very anti-union, and so they had to withdraw because of the hostility they were facing from their employers, from the actual bargaining unit of the company, but they still went and they paid their dues at the union. They were determined not to relinquish their union membership. We ought not to have happened. Nobody should be intimidated anywhere from union membership, if that is their choice. I mean, freedom of association and whatever, we call it in St. Lucia. We are due for a break now, but before I go for the break, I just want to slip in one additional question. Given what is happening, and I don't know, I cannot say this is the dirtiest it has been. I guess the political nature of campaigning and so on for any office and so on, whether it be national office or union office, you're going to have this kind of mudslinging and people trying to undo others and so on. Do you have any concern or any fear that this can affect the image of the union in the sense of people seeing it as something they want to be part of? We talk about bringing in more people, but when they hear the mudslinging and what is going on and who have this to say, this thing to dig up from 20 years ago and the Mipui and all of that that's going on, Are you in any way worried that it can make the union seem like, you see this thing, I don't want to have anything to do? And I understand there are people going about who enjoy telling people don't get involved in that, do not get involved in that. So tell me about the whole process of the campaigning and the lobbying for office and so on, and the longer term effect it can have on the union. Maybe you are experiencing it now from previous canvassing and so on, that a lot of things that were dumped have never really been shoveled away. So give us your take on it.
I agree that the negative campaigning does have an impact on the perceptions people have of the unions, because we saw it in the St. Lucia Teachers Union's election. Look, we're seeing it in ours. And so as responsible persons, we have asked that this stop, because the image of CSA can be tarnished with that type of campaigning.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. It seemed like a little speck of dust is irritating my nostrils. So that's a good time to go for the break, I think. Real Issues with Tekla Goodman and Chris Fred.
Yes, it is.
That is the president and the treasurer hopeful for elections that are due on the 29th of April. Are my guests in the studio today. We'll be back shortly.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Life moves fast. To keep up, you need more than just energy. You need vitality. Introducing McDowell's Damiana, a celebrated botanical secret crafted for all genders, now captured in a single daily capsule. For women, it's great for hormone balance and reproductive health. For men, it's the traditional secret to peak vitality and stamina. With 300 milligrams of pure Damiana extract, it's designed for both men and women to support balance, mood, and natural spark. Reclaim your flow with McDowell's Damiana. Unlock the best version of you. Available at Health Service Center on the John Compton Highway and all pharmacies. You can also order online on McDowellsProducts.com. Rediscover your rhythm. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Morning walks, time with loved ones, and moving freely without constant discomfort. But when joint and muscle pain slow you down, even the simple moments can feel like a challenge. That's where McDowell's Pain Complex comes in. Formulated to support joint comfort and mobility, McDowell's Pain Complex helps you get back to the life you love, step by step, day by day. Move easier, feel better, live fully. McDowellsProducts.com. McDowell's Pain Complex. Rediscover your rhythm. Now available at all leading pharmacies and at Health Service Center upstairs the Napa Building on the John Compton Highway.
Super Jazz and Arts, that's the best community jazz event in St. Lucia.
You heard it. Now come to Sufred Jazz and Arts, the ultimate experience. Gramps Morgan. Voice. Montiel. ZYP, Offer Ale, Ezra the Fun Machine, Imran Nerdy, Reasons Orchestra, Boo Hinkson and the True Tones. Now on a Saturday, May 2nd, doors open from 3 p.m. Get your tickets at $150 or indulge in the ultimate VIP Village experience for $400. Purchase at FourCircleTickets.com, the Cell Outlets Island-wide, and the Sufre Foundation office. 9 incredible artists, 1 unforgettable night. And also join us for DJ Asuf Creole Breakfast Fest, Sunday, May 3rd. Admission free. The ultimate weekend in the ultimate location. Sufre Jazz. The ultimate experience.
Stop letting your night be defined by trips to the bathroom. Waking up 3 or 4 times a night isn't just getting older, it's a wake-up call. Reclaim your flow and your freedom with McDowell Prostate Health. Specially formulated for men over 40, our premium herbal formula targets weak flow and frequent interruptions before they sideline your life. Don't just manage the symptoms, stay ahead of them. Get back the confidence of a full night's sleep and the strength of a healthy flow. Feel like yourself again. Pick up McDowell's Prostate Health at Health Services Center, pharmacies, or order online at McDowellProducts.com.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
This is our final program for this week. The Real Issues, as you know, airs weekdays from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on the radio station Real FM, serving you on the frequencies of 91.3 megahertz for those of you joining us in the northern part of St. Lucia, and 91.5 for the south. We simulcast on NBC television as in McDowell Broadcasting Corporation, Channel 120 on the Flow Cable TV service. We're also available on Facebook Live and on YouTube live streaming. My guest in studio with me are the president of the St. Lucia Civil Service Association, Tekla Goodman, and with her is Chris Fred. He is the treasurer hopeful. They will both be standing in the case of Tekla for re-election on the 29th of April. That's later this month. And Chris, of course, will be standing for election to the post of treasurer on that same date, April 29th. He is a member of the union's finance committee. Tekla, what is it that you hope with your team to achieve in the next 2 years, of that term that you have not achieved or been able to achieve? I understand that it's not everything that forms part of the president's or the executive's vision. Is something that they can wrap their hands around it. Sometimes they want to and they don't, but the democratic process, getting the quorum, getting the required number of votes can prove challenging. And so you can face resistance, from your own executive. But right now, as you look ahead and you're seeking re-election, if I were to say, give me a handful, meaning about 5 things that we must do that, we must find a way to do that, what would these be?
Okay, so I will take it in two ways. For CSA, as an organization, we need a lot of training for our shop stewards, industrial relations training, health and safety training for our shop stewards, for our branch chairs. This is very important. Our finances, to put our finances in order, and our building. For members, CSA, a lot of our members, especially in the public service, after 2003, once you become a civil servant or public officer, you no longer receive a pension from the government. You receive your pension from NIC. Mm-hmm. And the cry of many of our members is that you give 20 years, 30 years service, and you only come out with the pension, as opposed to the other members who are pensionable. So the discussions have started. I had a meeting with the Minister of the Public Service in looking to see how we can maybe give a gratuity to persons who serve the government for 15, 20, 30 years. That discussion has started. I would love to see that to fruition. Also, our traveling officers, while the government, we have made gains in that regard. Our traveling officers, the mileage, it has not increased for years. And so, as we know, with what's happening in the world now, things have increased. Mm-hmm. And so we need to look at that. Also, persons who travel, come to work and use their vehicles to do the government's work, some of us get 100% concession. Some of us don't. And I think it should be across the board for all public servants who use their resources to do the work of the government. So there are quite a few
Isn't
things.
that there's some more classified as traveling officers?
Well, the traveling officer, I mean.
Okay.
Those who are traveling officers, some benefit
But are they not
and
certain
some
okay,
don't.
so you're saying they're all of those you're referencing are traveling
officers, yes.
But not all get
Not
the
all
level
get-
of concession that
that
some
is
of them
right,
get.
that some
Have
others
reasons
get.
been given for that, been posited and said, okay, this particular traveling officer, his work takes him as a matter of routine down the coast all the time. This traveling, I don't know.
Yes, it does.
For me to do
but
something
it
that's
is still-
discriminatory, you would have to give reasons for that.
Yes, but it is still a traveling officer is using their resources to do the work of the government, and so across the board it should be fair.
Okay.
That's how we look at it.
All right. Okay.
So these are some of the things that we have to speak to our employer in that regard. For members, one of the things that we would love to see is CSA before used to be, I used to call CSA a Kudme organization where members help members. We need to go back to that. We need to be able to sustain ourselves with what is happening in the world, where for us to have a list of skills of our members. So if you do hairdressing, I do plumbing, and I need a hairdresser, I would come to my CSA member so that we can sustain each other. Also,
It's kind of like a mutual organization. It has a certain mutual benefits. And
that is right for members. So that is one of the things that I would love for us to see. And the one team, these are the things that while we met during the past few months, have been brainstorming on ways that members can benefit and how we can develop members. So these are some of the things that Chris can speak to the financial part of it that we would love to see.
All right. Oh, okay. Chris, tell us about the financial, but that's either of you at any question
Yes.
that I ask and so on. You mentioned that you want to engage with the government, you want to engage with employers, you want to do that. But I'm getting the feeling that the greatest challenge in engagement is within the CSA itself, that you might be bringing certain things to members and you might go and do something that you believe is in the best interest of members, and maybe to your surprise you'll come back and find your executive says bricks, full stop there, and they will cut you short. You will not get the support that you want, that they will, I don't know if veto is the right word, who has the veto power, whether it's you as the president or whether you're executive. You might undertake an initiative and they'll just feel, hey, you have no right going to do that and so on, and they will override you and they will stop you. In fact, one of the criticisms I have been leveled about you, Bandit, is that you tend to be too much of a unilateralist, that you go and you take decisions and do things without consulting, and that now, I'm not saying it has any truth in it.
Okay.
You probably may do it because you have to act, within a certain amount of time. You probably would have read from your executive that, look, we want something done about this, and so you move because of the agility. And I know the bureaucracy of organizations, sometimes the agility of action is just not there,
right.
and something needs to be done. So I'm just asking, where does the greater challenge lie? Is it in engaging with the government and other employers of your members, or is it within the CSA that there is this sort of thing that maybe when you took on the job, you got elected, you thought it would have been a smoother ride, it would have been more of a breeze? Give me an idea of inside the CSA.
So I thought when I came in, it would be, remember, we are individuals, different individuals coming together, getting to learn each other, getting to know each other. That took a while, and then you're realizing that, yes, I am an action person. So the talk, and there are things to be done. For example, the fixing of the air quality of the building. We had to get that done because there were people suffering. So the talking, action has to be put behind it. And so sometimes as a leader, you have to move to get stuff.
Let me see if I can take some words out of your mouth and run ahead of you.
Yes.
There's an equality problem. People are complaining that they're having all the signs and things, or whether it's mold infection and breathing dust and allergy and all this sort of thing. You decide, look, something needs to be done right here, right now. There's a refrigeration service, air condition, whatever down the place. You call them because it's something that has to be done. To your surprise, a meeting is called or somebody wants a meeting because you went and spent the union's money without getting the proper authorization to do work, and then questions will be asked whether the air-conditioned guy is your cousin or whether he's your, whatever it is and so on. But you acted on the spur of the moment. Have you been exceeding your authority, albeit out of a zeal and determination to get things done, quickly and in little time? Or is it that it's just too bureaucratic? People want a meeting for everything. They want an executive meeting and a general council meeting because you spent money to replace AC filters and it was the general secretary that should have done that and not you. Have there been this kind of conflicts?
There have been that kind of conflict, but also remember, you cannot spend the union's money without other signatories.
Okay.
So we had to come together and say, this is important. Let us move. So when persons say unilaterally she spent the money, she cannot sign a check on her own.
Is there a prior agreement as to what some of the money that can be spent spontaneous may not be the
for
right
emergency, $3,000.
Okay, for emergency,
Yes.
3,000,
So-
and it delineates what is an emergency.
Yes.
Because people can,
Yes.
under the cover of emergency, can spend
Right,
$3,000 on
right.
each period to occasion.
Yes, so that is one of the biggest issues. We talk a lot and then don't move. But then at the end of the day, we still had to come together and say, yes, this is an emergency because our staff has stepped out of the secretariat. We need to get them back in to serve the members. And so we had to come together and for three of us to be signing off to, and in that regard, the contractors were contractors already known to CSE. Not persons I knew. They were already known. So we went down that route of having them come in and having them do the work to fix the problem.
Did you get pushback after that from doing those things which one can consider to be
pushback
necessary?
from the executive, but not from the staff who now are in an office that is healthy and safe. So I did not. I was happy that the staff now is happy.
Okay. What are some of the worst accusations you would say that you have faced as president of the CSA? Because, like I said, a lot is going around.
A lot has been said, but
that you're acting without authority, that you are doing things in a dictatorial way, that you are. I don't want to go into.
There's a lot that have been said, but for me,
have you been able to successfully respond to and defend yourself against these accusations, in your opinion?
For me, my members know because there was a petition to remove me and it did not work.
Okay.
So my members know. My members, the members of CSA, like I said, can see through the fluff and the bluff. So for me now, it's concentrating on getting things, benefits for my members.
Okay.
It did not happen in my first tenure. And like I said, I had small wins like the Formato issue where we had a situation with Formato who offered CSA scholarships, also offered Sir Arthur Lewis, and those scholarships were brought in by the Ministry of Education through the OAS. And so...
At some Spanish university.
Yes, a Spanish business school.
Educativo or something like that, yeah.
And so those who did it in 2022-23, the Ministry of Education verified their certificates. And those who did it in 2023 to 2024-25, the ministry said, because they received a letter from public service, stopped verifying certificates. That was unfair. And for me, as president of CSA, accepting the scholarships, members went on to do the program. I had to step in, because I even went to Spain myself to finish off the program.
Okay.
And so I had to step in for not just my members and myself, but for persons, citizens who did it. There were about 700 of us who did it.
Wow.
And so action had to be taken. And so, being the action person, we had to fight. And eventually, we got our certificates verified.
Okay, all right. Chris, as the man who is looking to, as part of Team Thekla, I'm sorry, that's my little invention, to become the treasurer, what do you foresee as some things that you can put in place, some systems and so on, so that the information is out there? You don't need to wait for a letter, for a meeting and so on. Maybe something you can send I don't know if it's likely to people's phones, to an app and so on, so that you don't have this continuous belly aching and accusation and agonizing over whether there is a bubble or whether there is something. These things, for some reason, they energize people. You're going to call a meeting and you'll hardly get 50 people showing up. Word spreads around that there's been a bubble inside there, and next thing you're going to find a meeting
Our culture.
of a few thousand people, and they come there and they cower and they're ready to fight and so on, all of that and so on. I'm just saying, what kind of systematic approach can you, as a treasurer, and I know you will not be doing it unilaterally, to create that sense of confidence, to create that sense of integrity in terms of how things are done, so that you don't have this continuous bickering over was it executive members or who getting paid bonus $300 a month, and I'm hearing a lot about that too, who's proposed it and whatever, and whether there's enough money to repair the CSA center and to restore it and to renovate it, whether we should expand the building to be L-shaped instead of what it is right now. I mean, you hear a lot of things, but as the treasurer, when you think of all those things, what do you think a reform or a rearrangement of the whole system of financial accounting and management and so on of the CSA can do to prevent that?
Yeah, thank you. CSA primarily doesn't have an accounting problem as such. It has a governance problem. Yes?
Okay, explain to us the difference.
You mentioned that members must be energized to come to meetings based on propaganda that's been shared. And in the past, the AGM was called and there was a lack of quorum. And in the 7-point manifesto of the one team, we speak to having shop stewards trained, and also shop stewards get a stipend to defray out-of-pocket costs and obligations of being a shop steward. Currently, CSA has about 140 shop stewards and assistant shop stewards, and the quorum for a general meeting is 75 members to form a quorum, and we have 140, almost double. And yet still you can have a meeting. So it was felt that if you energize the shop stewards with information and with resources, they will actively play the role.
Was that the thinking behind, I think at some point, I don't know who proposed it, but somebody mentioned that there was a proposal to pay shop stewards to give them
a stipend,
yes.
A
stipend or something.
That's the term used, yes.
You've mentioned energizing them, but is it that all efforts to energize have not been successful? So you have to try to see if you can, sweeten it up.
It's not a payment. And I listened to Brother Demark, who kind of opposed the stipend.
He said, when
back in the day,
people did
persons did these things
for honor, for commitment,
voluntarily. But we are seeing now that members tend to shy away from this. And not only that, they have to use their resources. So you have a shop steward in Viewfort who has to come to Castries, to volunteer their service. So why can't we pay their bus fare to come up? So it is not a monthly payment. And not only that, it is not something that...
So is it being done right now? Or is it
it is not being done. Well, we have some persons who we give them the transport from Soufriere, who come up and
was that happening before you, or is it out of your stewardship that this thing came?
No, it was happening before. But what I'm saying, we would not just go and say, okay, the one team, let's decide on $100 per person. There must be discussion. There must be, and if shop stewards say, well, no, we don't want it, then it doesn't happen. But to me, I see it unfair that persons use their resources to come up with the executive.
Is this being used against you as a kind of a,
I think so. But at the end of the day, an incentive to us, to the shop stewards, to just reimburse you for your travel, for your phone that you have to use, for the meetings that you are supposed to have in your branch. And general counsel also, because you're supposed to hold branch meetings. You're supposed to have try to energize the members in your branch to attend the functions of CSA or activities of CSA. So it is not a payment or something to augment your salary. It is just reimbursing you for the work that you are putting in.
And the effort required.
And you understand, and the effort required as a shop steward.
All right. Tell me about this $300 bonus for, was it executive members or something like that, or who it was?
So
something is being made of that.
When I came in,
sorry, my head not holding everything, but you know.
When I came in, I found that executive members were being paid a Christmas bonus. Well, it was explained to me, a token for Christmas. Executive members, to me, if you have brought in monies into CSA by fundraising, because years gone, there was always something CSA was doing to raise funds, to augment the subscriptions coming in so that more activities could be held for members. But for the past 10 years, I would say, we have not done any fundraising. And the work of the secretariat is being done by the staff. So I can understand the bonus for the staff, but not for the executive. We're already getting a stipend every month.
So you stopped it.
So I initiated the stop. Let me put it that way. Yeah. Initiated the stop.
So now you have a lot of people out looking for you.
Right. But I will continue saying, you cannot have members sacrificing to pay their money to the union.
Right.
We have not accounted to them for the monies that they have brought into CSA, but we are taking monies out for us who are already receiving a stipend every month. This is not right.
Okay. Well, anytime you see you touch people's pocket, even if it's a small amount and so on, that may partly explain that you have some people out hunting for you.
But the issue stems from the fact that persons come to the executive not knowing how CSA operates. And it's so important that in future elections or future CSA general councils, that persons come to those organizations, to those structures, knowing the culture of the union. I'll give an example. When I first became treasurer, because I've been treasurer twice before, I wasn't aware that executive members were getting a stipend, because the budget was prepared by the treasurer, or the reports were presented by the treasurer in such a way that it masked those details. So when I came as treasurer, I was surprised. I thought I was volunteering my services free of charge. So when I heard for the first time, the treasurer get an allowance, the president get an allowance, I was shocked. So the average member doesn't know these things. So when persons come to CSA and they hear the president gets so much money, and when they come to the executive and they see it's not as much as they thought, they are disappointed. And that to me is the genesis of the bonus over the years. Because there's this expectation that you come into CSA yourself, you must be rewarded. And when you get the backlash from Shop Stewart, I will not volunteer to be on a committee, because
can that be discontinued without bloodletting?
The bonus?
The bonus, whatever it is.
The bonus was discontinued.
Okay, but I'm saying, do you believe that some of the bloodletting, and I'm using that word, I think you understand what I mean, is as a result of those kinds of decisions, to discontinue?
Okay, basically, it was attempted, because I was treasurer before, as I stated, right? And I was first elected in 2016. And when I came and I did the budget review, I made a recommendation to the first general council that the stipend be stopped. To executive officers be stopped. Yeah?
You were almost lynched.
And everyone went against it. Yes? So and then I subsequently said, if not cut it entirely, half. Still no. So the impression is there that CSA has money to make, and when you ask someone to volunteer, whether it's as a finance committee member, sports committee member, and they hearing and seeing that other person getting some level of compensation allowance and they're getting nothing and they're just coming to the meeting, they're feeling that's unfair.
It creates cynicism.
So they want some level of acknowledgement.
Okay.
Yeah, in whatever form.
Okay.
Of the efforts.
Tekla, let me ask you two questions before we take our final break. What would you consider to be your greatest achievements in the 2 years that you have been president, despite whatever the challenges, limitations, pushback? I don't know if you've suffered undermining, but I'm sure you have had help and support too as well. What would you say if I were to ask you to name 3 things, as succinctly as you can, that have been your greatest achievements that you can boast about, and that give you confidence that going forward you are going to get the support because you got those things done?
the scholarships. For Mato, the fight for Mato. Also, there are quite a few members that I have represented individually who are very happy with the representation that they receive.
Represented them in what way?
Some with grievances who did not want, especially women who may not want a man to represent them at the table, and so have asked me to come in. We have departments.
But did that not result in you usurping the role of your IR, that's what they call them, industrial relations officers, that you took on the role of being, I don't know, the mediation?
No, but remember, you have that right.
Okay.
For representation, anybody you want to represent you. Now, while I'm not an IR officer,
but the president
for
is
being
the chief
in the
negotiator of the union,
for being in the position, and persons ask that I represent them, it gave me a lot of joy that every single one of them was positive.
Okay, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So these are some of the things that.
All right. Okay.
I'm happy about.
I'm very glad to hear that. Let's leave the other part of what I was going to ask for after the break. This is the real issues, and we'll be back. And I think not long thereafter, we'll be opening the phone lines for any calls, any questions you want to ask. And we'll also try to read some of your messages as well. Please don't go away.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Life moves fast. To keep up, you need more than just energy. You need vitality. Introducing McDowell's Damiana, a celebrated botanical secret crafted for all genders, now captured in a single daily capsule. For women, it's great for hormone balance and reproductive health. For men, it's the traditional secret to peak vitality and stamina. With 300 milligrams of pure Damiana extract, it's designed for both men and women to support balance, mood, and natural spark. Reclaim your flow with McDowell's Damiana. Unlock the best version of you. Available at Health Service Center on the John Compton Highway and all pharmacies. You can also order online on McDowellsProducts.com. Rediscover your rhythm. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Morning walks, time with loved ones, and moving freely without constant discomfort. But when joint and muscle pains slow you down, even the simple moments can feel like a challenge. That's where McDowell's Pain Complex comes in. Formulated to support joint comfort and mobility, McDowell's Pain Complex helps you get back to the life you love, step by step, day by day. Move easier, feel better, live fully. McDowellsProducts.com. McDowell's Pain Complex. Rediscover your rhythm. Now available at all leading pharmacies and at Health Service Center upstairs the Napa Building on the John Compton Highway.
Super Jazz and Arts, that's the best community jazz event in St. Lucia.
You heard it. Now come to Sufred Jazz and Arts, the ultimate experience. Gramps Morgan. Voice. Montiel. DYP, Offer Alain, Ezra the Fun Machine, Imran Nerdy, Reese's Orchestra, Boo Hinkson and the True Tones. Now on a Saturday, May 2nd, doors open from 3 p.m. Get your tickets at $150 or indulge in the ultimate VIP Village experience for $400. Purchase at FourCircleTickets.com, the Cell Outlets Island-wide, and the Sufre Foundation office. 9 incredible artists, 1 unforgettable night. And also join us for DJ Asuf Creole Breakfast Fest, Sunday, May 3rd. Admission free. The ultimate weekend in the ultimate location. Sufre Jazz. The ultimate experience.
Stop letting your night be defined by trips to the bathroom. Waking up 3 or 4 times a night isn't just getting older, it's a wake-up call. Reclaim your flow and your freedom with McDowell Prostate Health. Specially formulated for men over 40, our premium herbal formula targets weak flow and frequent interruptions before they sideline your life. Don't just manage the symptoms, stay ahead of them. Get back the confidence of a full night's sleep and the strength of a healthy flow. Feel like yourself again. Pick up McDowell's Prostate Health at Health Services Center, pharmacies, or order online at McDowellProducts.com.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
This is The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, on Friday, the 17th of April, 2026. My guest in studio, the president of the St. Lucia Civil Service Association, who is seeking re-election for another 2-year term, Ms. Tekla Goodman, and also Mr. Chris Fred, who will be standing for election to the post of treasurer when the polls, the CSA polls, take place on the 29th of April, 2026. That's just a short way, from now, so 17, we're talking about another 12 days, right? And
Yes.
then we'll be having those elections. Tekla Goodman is part of a team, complete team, that will be running with her for the positions that are up. And she's running for president. We have the first vice president, I think is Lindell James, who's running for first vice president. We have Andrew Charles, who's running for second vice president. But we also have Chris Fred, and the others we can talk about in due course. Is it a good idea? Is the team thing a good idea? Because I'm thinking to myself, if you run for elections, as for example, I think there's a Mr. Barry who's running all by himself, I believe, for the post of president, and you have other people who are not part of your team, does it not give any executive that emerges out of this, where there is a fragmentation, not of alliances, but in terms of the cohesion of people, that they will say it's more credible because people who are not necessarily buddies and teammates and so on, they are more likely to want to work by the book to get things done. It takes more political skill to do that, and there will be less of a perception or belief that you're colluding with each other. I'm sorry, but I learned that in my many years in journalism and broadcasting, that there is such a thing called a healthy antagonism, such as exists between the government and the press, for the most part. And basically people are saying when there is that healthy antagonism, that you don't have too much of a cozy, chummy, buddy relationship, you will put to them the questions about the things that they probably want to. If Tekla Goodman and her team, let us say, sweep the polls, you all get everything, will that not hold the possibility of a disadvantage? Because people will say you all were elected as a team, so you all are probably shielding and protecting each other, and the possibility of collusion exists more than if you had people who are not really teammates, so to speak. So I'm saying, is there a downside to the team approach?
For me, no, there isn't. The team that we have, like I said earlier, persons who form one team were approached before the team was formed by the same persons going up for elections who are running for president, so that they could form their own team. So the one team members were approached. These are CSA members who want to see CSA move forward, people of integrity who have come together. It's not a team of yes men and yes women, because sitting with those persons for the past few months, there are things that we disagree on. There are things that we have hashed out those differences, and now we are ready to move, not to be, like I said, colluding with each other, but all of us have the same goal, to move CSA forward, to do things for members so that members can benefit. So the one team concept at this present time is the best concept for CSA, in my opinion.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm thinking of the question, and I was remembering at the Conference of Delegates in 2024, when the new executive was installed, members of the conference threw so many questions and deadlines at the new executive, and I thought it was unfair, because the incoming executive had a chance to go into the executive, see the issues, and to see how they'll approach it. So you have structures in place to hold every executive accountable. You have reporting requirements, and one of them is the treasurer's report, where you give details of what's happening. So it takes me back to the 7-point manifesto and the point of training and educating shop stewards to know their role, because general counsel is made up of shop stewards in the main. 30 shop stewards from the branch reps. Yes. So if you have an engaged shop steward, you will have an engaged general counsel to hold any executive to account.
Okay.
Yes. And further, you have branch reps have to give reports at the general counsel and also to their members.
Okay.
So there are controls put in place to hold any executive to account. So the issue of collusion, if it does happen, will be exposed. And this is what Dr. Goodman have seen happen in the previous executive, where there's some level of collusion, where information has been controlled and members not being told the truth. So when I would say, for example, the government owes CSA $1.2 million, in no treasurer's report has that been disclosed that the government owes CSA money.
Okay. Jaquan, can we just scroll the pictures, the flyers of the team that will be standing with Tekla Goodman for election to the CSA executive for the next 2 years? I mean, in the order in which it was given to me. Of course, we know Tekla is here and Chris is here, but there is Malcolm Phillips who will be standing for trustee. Of course, we have Tekla for the president, and Raphael Lamontine, whose nickname is Kintu, for third vice president, and Tekla is just telling me he's from Soufre. There's Mary James for trustee, and she's one of the persons I met for the first time when I did that walkthrough on Tuesday. It was of the CSA building. I had seen her face on the flyer. Simeon Mathre, who's a Lucilec employee, we're told, so he's standing for assistant treasurer / secretary. Lindell James for first vice president. He's with customs in the south. He told me customs in Vieux. He was on the program previously with Andrew Charles, and Chris Fred for treasurer. He's here with us right now, of course. So Monica Joseph, who I met after a very long time. She's a lady I've known for many years, a few decades for that matter, and met her again during that recall tour. Andrew Charles was here along with Lindell James some time ago. So there you have it, the team that will be standing up for election as the CSA's executive for the next 2 years. That vote will be taken on the 29th. And what's the location of the votes?
We have different polling stations.
Different polling stations, yes. Okay. So it will be basically in the area where, whatever the unit is and so on.
Right, and plus we have some mobile units that will go to the areas that are not easily accessible.
Okay, wonderful. Very sophisticated.
And I must say that
and of course the person who sent me those nice flyers, she forgot to include herself. She is in the studio with us. Maybe you can just take a quick, come around. She can't really participate in the discussion, especially as it has to do with canvassing, campaigning for the election, because of the position that she holds. She's a trustee. She's already a trustee of the union and is seeking re-election. There's a certain degree, the bar for integrity of the trustee is set very high. They are, to be the ones we can say who will be the guardian shepherds, of the organization, and so they have to hold a high degree of trust. But Cleopatra Anthony is here with us. Thank you very much for being there and for sending me those nice flyers and being so humble as to forget your own self, you know. All right, anything further, Chris and Yolo? We can just
Shelton, I want to say that the one team concept, it's not different from what our national politics offers.
The what concept?
The one team concept.
Okay,
is nothing different from what our
I understand. It was just a question offers. I just said that so if you have,
it is.
You know, many times there has been a tendency to centralize power, you know, and many people have said that one of the best ways to safeguard democracy and pluralism and so on is to not decentralization, you know, because you have a decentralization that you have shop stewards, you have all these people, but you know, to kind of fragment power in a manner that too much of it is not concentrated, you know, as Senior Trump seems to be trying to do in the States to reverse the fragmentation of power among the different branches. So he has a Congress, both houses, which seem to believe that their role is to please him in everything, even the Supreme Court that seems to believe the Clarence Thomases and them is to protect President Trump and so on. And we are seeing what the consolidation and centralization of power. And I'm thinking, if you have an executive, it's not that people who are shouting and screaming and shaking their fist at each other, but it is understood that there is that healthy antagonism, the ability to disagree, the ability to even do, you know, I want us to work together and for the union, but not one where we all nod in our heads and say yes, yes, to everything. So perhaps having, even if it is a team, but a team that people do not form in their minds the impression that everything is a given and a foregone conclusion because, you know, this is Tekla's buddies, this is her people, that she have them in the palm of her hand or whatever it is they call it and so on. The image of it is more credible and the application of it is that its decisions will be more grounded in a harmony with the Constitution, with whatever laws and everything that you have, as opposed to thinking, people, what do you expect? You know, all of them, you know, they're cool and cozy, people. Nice and dandy with each other.
Yes, sir.
You know?
CSA people.
Yeah. So let's open the phone lines. If anyone wants to call, the microphone, do we have someone on the line? Okay. The microphone we had to use the mic. Okay, we do have a mic. Sorry about that. All right, the numbers you can reach us on if you want to WhatsApp call us. 487-9849. All right, you can use that number to WhatsApp call us. 487-9849. Of course, with the 758 area code behind. And you can also use the landline 4533-911. Don't forget, we have to wrap it up at 2 o'clock, and we're getting our first one already. The real issues, you're on the air.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good afternoon, Shelton.
Good afternoon to you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, and my guests say good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I beg your pardon?
My guests say good afternoon, and they say that they're doing fine, and they hope you're doing fine as well.
Oh, so I was just out this person to suggest. Let me tell you about suggest. I'm not going to do the reason I told me there.
Usa vodia kwa dikwe la mako kwa ni. Okay, go ahead. But we seem to be you seem to be talking too close to your phone or something.
Muffle.
Call today, but because I see one Suse in the studio and you just spell my name that person, I had to call.
You see a Suse in the studio?
Second one.
No, hold on. What's Suse you see in the studio?
Let me not mention names, but I know that Shelton. Sorry, there's someone who called. The last time the two members of the
last time Lindell and Andrew were there?
Right.
Okay,
I am hoping this individual calls with the emboldenment of the questions that he asked you at that time, because from what I sat here listening to, I realized that Miss Goodman, good afternoon, and Mr. Fred, good afternoon. I realized that the I realized that she has clarified the misconceptions and the myths of the past. So I am going to go back to my corner and listen for that caller to call and ask all of those questions.
But what was that reference to Suse? That's what I want to know. What was the reference?
What was the reference
to Suse? What was it? Who was it directed at, and what was it? The context of it. It's a very
The
strong.
Soufre story?
Huh?
The Soufre?
The Soufre story?
Oh, I didn't say anything about Soufre.
Oh, no, Soufre. To me, you said something about Soufre.
Yes, I called the person name. Cleopatra. Bye-bye.
Cleopatra is a Soufre?
Yes,
No, let's be careful with that, okay? The people are campaigning for an election, and so.
I have a problem.
Yeah, okay, and there's a degree of seriousness attached to it, and so on.
No. Cleopatra's my son. Cleopatra's my son. She has to take me to lunch. Wait, bye.
Okay, all right, okay. Yeah. Folks, I don't want anybody to believe or to think or to feel that I have torpedoed them or I'm trying to torpedo them in the and sometimes things which may be a joke in other situations, in other situations and so on, they tend to be things that take on a seriousness because of the particular context of running for an election. So let's be careful. It may have been light-hearted and so on, but I'm just saying, let's be careful. Like I said, Shelton Daniel wants to conduct this program in this matter, that it is known that he has no horse in the race, no skin in the game, which is a different thing when it's the Labour Party. I come out open and I tell people I'm Labour and I'm supporter, and if Labour is a disease, I'm an incurable case, I do that. But I ain't torpedoing anybody who running in something like the CSA or anything of that kind, okay?
Let me add, in the past, rather in the 2016 Executive Council or General Council, because you have structures, you have Executive Council and you have General Council. Trustees are not members of the Executive Council.
Okay.
They are outside. And under the 2016 General Council, where trustees sit, they form themselves into a board of trustees, where a chairman was elected and a secretary.
Just hold on, Nicola, just hold on a couple seconds.
So you would have a situation where the trustees will come together and they would deliberate on issues, as opposed to an executive having one trustee to take decision when another trustee disagrees. So if you have a board of trustees, the majority of the three would agree on a particular course of action.
And that is what I was talking about,
So
the fragmentation of
the controls are there.
Power and responsibility.
Just to implement them.
Okay. We have a caller waiting. Real issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Good day to you, Shelton, and to your guest as well.
Hi.
Now, I'm speaking while I'm not a guru in the whole field. I am presently vying to be a trustee of a union. That would be my second time, while it's not consecutive. And I'm looking at how people from the Labour Department actively, you could almost say, taking sides leading to this election.
Wow.
I'm trying to understand the role of the Labour Department. Because as I understood, they're supposed to be more focused on giving the members their rights, letting them know that it is okay to be a member of the union. But is it okay for them to be so openly taking sides in an executive of the CSA? Thank you.
All right. Okay. A bit cryptic there, I suppose. I want to say something without identifying, but I need not have anybody to persuade me that the Labour Department ought to be impartial. It ought to be above board. It ought to be an organization whose integrity is apparent to all, and everybody can almost basically consider that to be a foregone conclusion, so that when you turn to the Labour Department for intervention or resolution in anything, that you can be assured that its approach to that is one that is not tilted with any slant or any bias or anything of that kind. I'm sorry if you've had a bad experience, but it's one of those things that maybe if you feel that strongly, you should communicate it. We have someone calling us on the WhatsApp line. Real issues, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I am doing okay. How about you?
Good afternoon to your guests.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I was listening to the young lady, and I think I heard she say that they're trying to put things in place for workers to get a gratuity. I can remember I worked with NCA, and CSA was my union. And when I left the job, there was something in place. After 10 years, you could leave the job and get your gratuity. I left the job in 2016 and got a gratuity. So I tried to put it now. Did they remove it?
We're talking about public servants, workers who work for the government, directly for the government. These are the workers that I was talking about.
NIC,
those who work for the government but contribute to NIC. They receive nothing but the
Because
pension from NIC.
When I was working with NCA, I was paying NIC.
So NCA is a board, is outside of central service.
All right then.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right.
Oops, sorry about that. I forgot that. All right, 4879849. That's the number on which you can WhatsApp call us, and you can also reach us on the landline, which is 4533911. We are rapidly running out of time, so between you, Tekla and Chris, if there's anything that you all want to say in terms of wrapping up. Maybe I didn't target that in my questions. Now's the time.
So, go ahead.
Yes, I want to assure members, listeners, and members of CSA listening that the one team is committed to working in the interest.
Speak up a bit for us, huh?
The one team is committed to working in the interests of the members first and foremost, and give them the quality representation that they deserve. The structures of the union are there. It's just to engage and empower members to represent the union at the various levels, and the one team has specified training for shop stewards who are the bedrock of the union. So just to assure members that the controls are in place and the one team will not dominate or take over decision making, but will act in accordance with the constitution and most importantly the will of the members.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
do you have a background in finance and accounting?
I work at the cooperative department where I work with financial statements of societies, and prior to that I work in the accounting stream in the government service.
Okay, wonderful. Yes. So you and Tekla have some similar skill sets and so on. Go ahead, Tekla. Yeah.
Okay, so for
caller, I don't know if we'll have time to take your call, but if you want to just hold on, let Tekla do her wrap up, and if we have a little extra few seconds, we can give you. Jaquan says that. Okay, just hold on. Jaquan doesn't think it's going to work, but let's try. Go ahead, Tekla.
Okay, so for members, the one team is the way to go. We have some pertinent issues, and in discussions, the discussions have started in regards to the gratuity for our public service members, the housing, which is very important to our public service minister in discussions with him, housing for public officers. And so these are things that we have to look for our members, benefits for our members, the members that CSA represents. So the one team, we have sat and we have formulated this plan to move CSA forward. The CSA I knew 30 years ago, we may not be able to get back there, but we should be able to get to a semblance of what CSA was, a community working together, sustaining each other. And that is the aim and the goal of the one team. So I'm encouraging everybody, every member to come out in large numbers to vote. Us coming out in large numbers shows that the union is still strong, the union is still relevant. So I'm encouraging members to come out on April 29th to vote for the one team, but come out to vote.
All right. Yes. Thank you very much, Tekla Goodman, current president, and looking to be continue as looking to be given the chance to continue for another 2 years as president in elections on April 29th. Chris Fred, a member of the union's finance committee, standing for election as the treasurer this time around, and in the studio with us off camera, Cleopatra Anthony, looking to continue as one of the union's trustees. That's been the real issues for today and for the week. Thank you so very much, everyone, for having been part of it. God willing, from Monday, let's do this again, 12:30 to 2 on Real FM Radio, MBC Television, Facebook, and YouTube live streaming. Big up to you, Jaquan, ever so reliable and competent at what you do. Shelton Daniel, enjoy the rest of your Friday safely. Have a great weekend, and we're out of it.
2026 were Double Daily Grand 3, 12, 15, 21. Big 4, 9, 8, 6, 4. Big for multi-X, 2X. Pick 2, 9, 2. Pick 2 multi-X, 2X. 1 off, 6, 7, 5. Lucky 3 091 Lucky 3 Multi-X 3X.
The man, the voice, Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Life moves fast. To keep up, you need more than just energy. You need vitality.